In this video, we're going to look at reducing balance loans, which are a very common type of loan to have. They are the types of loans you have on your house, or you can even have them as personal loans if you need to buy something specific. And they are actually cheaper than a flat rate loan by comparison. So a flat rate loan would be something like if you bought a car on finance. They tend to bill you the interest based on the original price of the car, no matter what stage in the loan you're at. Whereas with a reducing balance loan, every single time you make a payment, you reduce the amount owing, and therefore the interest that they calculate every time will become less and less. So as a curve of the amount owing, you can see that it goes down and down in a curve shape, because towards the end of the loan, the amount owing is less, and so the interest is less. And so when you make your payments, if you keep the payments the same, it takes off more and more of what we call the principal. So the principal is the amount owing. And we're going to learn to make calculations based on this, which will be useful for later in life when you have your own loans. So if we look at the actual recurrence relation used for this, it's the same system as the one we used for geometric growth and decay. So we've got your ratio here, which is actually the interest rate. So you work out capital R by using this here, 1 plus R over 100. So that will increase the amount owing, and that's what generates the interest. Then you make your deduction. So that's your payment. So D is the payment amount. So that's how much you're giving the bank to try and pay off the loan. And so every step in the sequence, you have to increase the amount owing using the R there. So that increases the amount that you owe them, because that's the interest that they're charging you, followed by reducing the loan by your payment. And that repeated process is what happens throughout the life of a mortgage or any other kind of loan. So we can see these as tables, which we call an amortization table. It's a bit of a strange name, but I always see that the mort part is the same as in a mortgage. And this breaks down every payment as a table rather than as a chart. So we can see here this loan has an original principal. Notice how they use original principal, because the term principal is any amount owing left on the loan. So we've got the original principal of 200,000. So that's like a house loan. Well, maybe 10, 20 years ago, a house loan. The amount of time is 30 years. So that's like a mortgage. The interest rate is 6.75%, which is quite a high interest rate. At the moment, interest rates are down at around 3.5%. And that does change every year. But at the beginning of a loan, you get told your rate. Payments per year. So if it's a monthly loan payment plan, you'll be doing it 12 times a year. Nowadays you can repay it weekly and fortnightly as well. Some people prefer to do that because it's easier to manage, and also it actually makes you pay off slightly quicker, so you'll get charged less interest. And the payment amount, so this is usually calculated at the beginning of a loan, and they'll recalculate it each year as the interest changes. So usually that stays steady for a year, and then as the interest rate changes with the government's changes, they will adjust your payments accordingly. So if we look here at each month, we can see that what's happening is at month 0, so before the loan starts, we owe 200,000. We make a payment of 1,297.20. And that comes off the loan, so effectively that's like a minus from the balance. Interest is calculated, that's added onto the loan. And so the difference between the two is the amount of principal reduction. So I'm just going to add here reduction in principal. And that's how much it's going down overall. And so you'll see from there to there, it should go down by 172.20. That's the difference between the payment and the interest, because at the beginning of a loan, the payment is usually quite close to the interest, and that's how the bank makes their money. So the difference is the amount that they'll actually take off your owing balance. And so the balance goes down very slowly to start with, as you can see by the curve here. It actually starts off a bit flatter, but throughout the course of the loan it will drop more considerably. So this is a 30-year loan that I've taken from the Commonwealth website, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections there. Sorry, 6 sections. So each one of these is a 5-year period. So you can see how it takes quite a while for there to be a change in the slope there. But towards the end of the loan, it will pay off a lot quicker. And you can adjust the payments as well if you have more money or something like that. So in this question, what is the monthly interest rate for the loan above? So we have told the annual interest rate. So the monthly interest rate is simply calculated as 6.75 divided by 12. So 6.75 over 12 is 0.5625. In the next part, it says, what does the principal column show happening? So the principal column, as we discussed before, is the amount of balance, describing the reducing balance loan above as a recurrence relation. So, as I've said before, the recurrence relation for a reducing balance loan is modelled around this one. Okay, and V0 equals the starting amount. So for this one, the V0 is going to be 200,000. Vm plus 1 is going to be equal to R times Vn minus D. So R, in this case, is 1 plus 0.562 Vn minus the payments of 1297.20. Okay, and so if we simplify that, we're going to end up with Vm plus 1 equals 1.8